And all right, so let's go ahead and start with you, Junie. And you're not lame,
Okay,
you're wonderful.
okay. I want to show two things. I kind of did a compilation. So I used ChatGPT to kind of brainstorm my ideas and come up with my reflection. And then I took that and I wanted to try Gemini. So I tried two things. I did a PowerPoint presentation in Gemini, and I also did one in this Gamma. I think I mentioned to someone that I tried Gamma, and then I got a little scared because it said you're running low on tokens or you're running low on something. And I went, oh, okay. So so I used ChatGPT to help me with my reflection. And then I'm going to share my screen. So this is what I got from Gemini. Because everybody see that? So it's just my final reflection. And then, first, what happened is he came up with like 12 slides. And I went, whoa, too much. I just want something really short because, I don't want to go on and on and on. So it came up, then it made it shorter, which I liked. And so this is just basically, it just kind of tells you why I started with the PLC, what I wanted to do, right? I wanted to learn more about AI and that what I discovered, and I felt like it's really good for certain tasks, right? Like things that you don't need to have like citations for, right? I'm not going to put a citation if I write, Aaron a letter of support. I'm not going to put a citation there. These are just, my thoughts, my feelings, and, with what I put into it. And then also, when I'm trying to figure out things or trying to come up with a new idea, like what can we do to make the thriving employees, like what kind of workshops or what kind of events would be good? And then it would come up with these things. So it was like, oh, it's a good kind of a sounding board. And so this is my aha moment, the fact that, oh my God, if I put in all of these things, like, if I'm writing a letter of sympathy and I said, oh, it was so good to see him before he passed. I really enjoyed, going to school with him or something, then it comes up with this really great letter versus I'm sorry for your loss. Like anybody could come up with that. So it's really like it is your assistant, but you've got to tell it what you want to say. It's going to make it sound good, but you still need to tell it things, right? So it's not replacing you. It's just helping you be better. So okay, so this is, the value of the PLC, which I really appreciated, was when we got together, and sometimes, we didn't talk very much. We're just using it to sort of, work on whatever it is we're working. And if we wanted to, we could talk story. But it was really nice to have people you knew you could kind of depend on if you had questions. It was, kind of a dedicated time to work on this. And that to me was really, really helpful. And people would come up with things like Debbie sent something, Kevin always, would send things and say, check this out. So it was really cool. And, the fact that AI is nothing new. Like this year, we have so many different AI assistants in the library databases and the catalog. So, it's like it's here. We need to learn how to work with it. So, looking ahead, so Erin, you did ask, okay, what do you plan to do with it? I think the major thing that it comes up time and time again for us as librarians is that faculty want to know how they how they can help students with to use AI ethically, right? I mean, you don't want it to just write your whole assignment or paper. Part of that is, educating students, and part of that is coming up with different types of assignments so that it's not an assignment that a student can just, say, please write a 500-word essay on the rail or something like that. So coming up with different types of assignments that you wouldn't be able to kind of cheat the system with AI, and supporting faculty, that's what we do, right? Because we're academic support, that's what we do. And then also, continue using AI I feel it really does enhance my productivity. It I feel like I come up with better answers or better, my output is more creative, because like I said, sometimes I'm very lame and so I need help. And this really helps me. And so I just want to say this was such a great experience. Thank you, thank you. And then what I want to do is I want to show, okay, let me see. I'm sharing, but I want to see if I can, I'm going to stop sharing and I want to share something else because I want to show you what I did with that gamma because I just thought it was so cool. And if I'm taking up too much time, that's fine. I won't share. Is it okay?
Yes,
Okay.
please share.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, this is okay. Let me share and um, can you guys see that? Do you see it?
Yes,
Uh, or
Yep.
maybe I should share well,
we can see
can
it.
you, okay. So this is what I asked Gamma. So I had an idea and I said, these are the things I want to share. And then it actually came up with not only the text, but it came up with the illustrations. I asked for illustrations versus, um, sorry, I think I've told you guys this. I have the three screens and I never know where my mouse is. Okay, so this is just basically, I'm going to give this presentation. We have a library lab series, and so mine is basically how you can use the library to help you get into the Christmas spirit. So, all of these things. I'm just going to go through it really quickly. But it came up with these illustrations, but initially it was very mainland. So I asked it, would you kind of make it more local Hawaii style? And so some of this stuff was a little too local. It's like, I don't want dancing hula girls, but it actually did a fairly decent, yeah, like a library is going to have hibiscus in it. But I kept on changing it. And after a while, it said, you are running low on tokens. And so I said, okay, I'm not going to change it anymore. But so that's the end of it. Anyway, so let me stop sharing.
Nice.
So I
Thank you,
wanted to
Junie.
show the difference. So Gemini gave me this really bland, I will have to jazz it up myself. And this Gamma, it was like, oh, it actually put up all of those nice, um, anyway.
That's
So
awesome. Thank you
I,
so much, Junie. Thanks for showing us Gamma too. I haven't played with Gamma yet, so
it's pretty cool. But
very
thank
good.
you, Erin, for
Thank you,
this
Junie.
opportunity.
No, thank you so much. All right, so let's go on to our next. Anybody dying to go? Otherwise, I'll just pick. Anybody? Okay, I will. Next on my screen is Franelyn. Hey, Fran.
Dang, I wasn't hoping to go that early, but it's all good. Thank you so much. I don't really have a presentation, but I'm just gonna have some stuff that I will show that really kind of um, helps me. So as a counselor, I normally send emails to my students at certain points of their academic journey. And I was like, oh, this looks very bland. Like I felt like I was giving vanilla emails. So I used ChatGPT to kind of help me, one, actually develop like a timeline of more of like enrollment and persistence and retention, like identify key um, time frames, and then also taking the messages that I already have and crafting it into a more welcoming, action-oriented kind of emails. So that's kind of what I use ChatGPT primarily for, and it's been super helpful because my emails went from plain vanilla to things like this. Um, I mean, I had to do the
Wow.
Tad helped me with the layout though, but as far as like the content and things like that, it helped me to make things more um, approachable for students, and then also creating more shorter things that were more action oriented. So this is like the intro email that I send all my incoming students. And then there's a week 4 message, which is half of the fourth wave, but this is to kind of check in on their progress, remind them of deadlines, and then provide them with academic support and wellness resources.
That's
So
awesome, Fran.
yeah, so that's that one. And then week 8 is registration. So it really
Oh,
helped me to kind
nice.
of make it short, but also very action oriented,
Mhm.
as you can see. And then the last one I have is a finals message.
Oh.
Yeah, so just kind of also like always reminding myself also to celebrate all to celebrate the students, even if we're just kind of throwing information at them. So, ChatGPT really helped to kind of make sure I had a lot of that balance instead of just like throwing information at students. And then also making information more bite-sized for the students. Because I realized even for me that I cannot read a long email at all. Like I have to it had to be digestible. So I
Mhm.
kind of use that. And then now moving forward, I'm trying to craft more messages that are geared towards specific populations just because that's part of my way of success for students, but contributing to kind of like the strategic. So I'm working with one of our other counselors, our Native Hawaiian success counselors, but ChatGPT helped to create kind of a structure. What does a campaign look like? What is a calendar? So this is kind of the calendar that I was mentioning. And then how we're going to integrate things that are cultural. Like what can I include in those messages? And then what the messages will look like. So we're changing things to even like um, using Olelo Hawaii versus English, and then adding things that make sense to the there. We're still working on them because obviously ChatGPT is just AI. So this is where it helps me to actually have an real person to make double check and make sure that what ChatGPT is sharing with me is actually accurate. But yeah, I that is this is what I have so far for that, but I'm working with our Native Hawaiian Success Counselor to make sure that it's actually relevant.
Yay,
But
that's awesome, Franelin. I love the bite size and it's so engaging to read. Man, maybe that's how we all got to start writing emails to each other. So, I love it. Good job, Fran. Good job.
Hey, so
thank
Fran, I sorry,
Mhm.
I got a question. That
Yes,
template, is that the Google template, or did you folks create that custom?
it is a Google template.
Okay.
So the
In
template,
the Gmail, right? Gmail
yes.
has it. Okay, got it. I
Yeah.
just found out about those, so nice to see it actually implemented.
Yeah, so I have a regular, I know it's not ChatGPT, but I have a regular just template and I just edit it. So I duplicate it and I duplicate it and then just adjust it accordingly.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Thank you.
What's kind of, and I know, just like Google Translate or anything, but you can ask it, right, to give you something in Olelo Hawaii or in Tagalog or whatever, right? But it's always good. I love that you have, it's partnering. It's just a tool, but you have to partner with the person to make sure everything's all good and stuff. So I love that. Good job, Franelin. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, next person I have on my screen is Princess.
So Ginny has it up on me as well. I don't have a PowerPoint slide. But what I've been doing with ChatGPT is so I've been using it for like a message polisher. I'll share. So I was using it as a message polisher, where this whole time I've been using it to soften my communications, and then I decided that I want to just create a GPT already, because after testing it out and using it, I'm noticing like very limited editing from my side after the message has been. So what's nice with ChatGPT was that I could actually have it summarize my experience with it, and then I asked it to actually create my GPT for me on like, so while we've been working together, can you please let me know like the guidelines that we've been using, and then I gave it like, okay, these are the form fields that I need to provide, and so it would tell me like how to, what goes where, the instructions, what this GPT does, how it behaves, what it should avoid, the conversation starters, the recommended model, and everything. And so then I plugged it in. In my writing, I had it reflect the office's mission and values because I'm a representative of it. I also have a certain writing style that I've always used, which is the you attitude. So it knows what writing style to use. It also ensures that my writing is for any data literacy. That I also want to avoid sounding really formal, because sometimes it's like you have to tell the person, I need more information, or you need to do this, but you don't want to sound demanding. And so I was able to just copy and paste the instructions into ChatGPT. I also did it also for like one of our administrators, based upon their personality, also like their behavior. So sometimes they don't really have time to read a whole nicely written email. They just need straight to the point. So we polished it up. And so now when I need to write emails, I can just talk in plain language, just type what I want to say, plug it in, and then it gives that format, and it sounds like how I would typically sound. Because it's using my personality, it's using my values, and sometimes even then I can, so we've been doing a lot of that true color personality on campus, and people start to know each other's colors, and then putting that in. And for one email I was even like, make it sound really blue but keep the green facts. And so it was very well written. It got like what I needed accomplished was accomplished. So then the other thing that I've been using it for is a lot of training, um, especially some of the softwares that I do work with. I don't have a partner on campus necessary to help me learn these softwares. So I've been using a lot of like for Tableau, even though I have people on other campuses I can tap into. Sometimes you need it more instant. So I've been using Tableau. It's been cutting down the amount of time that I would have to learn and search for features. Um, and then like best practices. One thing I wanted to share though is like for the next steps. Um, so with next steps, I was actually so what I like about ChatGPT is they are more um, non-biased. You could say it gives you. So I asked ChatGPT and Gemini the exact same question. Where would it be beneficial to use Notebook LM instead of ChatGPT? And when I did query prompt Gemini for it, it just gave like the why Notebook LM was more superior. And so it wasn't very helpful to me, in my opinion. Whereas exact same prompt for ChatGPT, and it broke it down for me of when to use Notebook LM and why ChatGPT may be better, as well as um, well, it actually says like why better than ChatGPT. So like why Notebook LM for this for deep research on a fit set of sources is better than ChatGPT. So these are the 4 areas of why ChatGPT is better. It tells me when I should use ChatGPT instead, and then it gives me a little summary table. So, and the reason why I was asking was primarily like, do you need to get the pro and more paid versions of all of the different AI tools, or is one just gonna cover it all for you? And so ChatGPT does really great when I need message polishers, when I need to learn new programs, when I want to be appealing to certain audiences, when I want it to be generalized. But Notebook LM would be a better tool if I really wanted to be source grounded and ensure that the facts are correct. So, like with ChatGPT, sometimes they will state like such and such says this, or it interprets the findings in a certain way. But if you were to actually read it, you'd be like, oh, no, that isn't what it's really saying. So I think Notebook LM is better at picking out things from and being sourced when you're providing the sources.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Princess. That was awesome. I really love how you use ChatGPT to help you develop the GPT. I thought and they even say like using ChatGPT to help create the prompts and stuff. So getting into that mindset, like really thinking outside of the box, I really feel like like we could do anything we want to. We just have to go beyond our own limitations to just test it out. So I love that you created those personas to help polish your email, so you can just write out your thoughts, plug it in there, and it can speak in your voice. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah, and it's even like cool that um, a lot of times I'll ask, did I forget something, or do you need to know something, and or is there something else I need to consider? And then it'll prompt me on considerations too.
mhm.
And then, like, especially if you're gonna do a deep research, you really want that initial prompt to be as written as clearly as possible
Mhm.
before you actually hit that submit button.
Right, right. Very good. So when we get our warm and fuzzy emails from you, we'll know it's from your GPT now. Now you're a warm and fuzzy person, Princess. So all right.
But I read them before I send it,
All right, and
and I
edit,
make
right?
sure that's what I would have said.
Very good. I love it. Okay. Next on
Um,
my screen. Oh,
no, no, no,
Captain?
no.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I find it interesting that you said it knows your personality to a certain degree, right? Do you find that frightening or do you find that welcoming?
It's I tell it what my personality is. So
Okay, so
I
you're in control all the way then.
yeah,
Got
so
it, got
I'm
it, got
like I'm a blue personality. I with in the true colors, I'm this type of person. In
it. Got
the
it, got it, got it.
glob personality test, I'm like this type of person. So I use different personality
Mhm.
test results to help build
Hmm.
my personality.
Got
Mhm.
it, got it. Oh, interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
And I love how the GPTs are tailored for your audience too. Like for an administrator who's this kind of person or whatever, you want these because then again it's about how to have the best communication amongst people, right? So knowing who your audience is. Very cool. Thank you, Princess. All right, moving on. Next person on my screen is Kevin. Kevin, are you cool to talk even in your car?
Yes, always, I can always talk. Um, all right, so I will share my screen. Actually, I'm gonna go camera off and
Wow.
let's just screen.
All of us are like, wow, you're sharing the
Uh,
screen from your car.
yeah. Where is it? Here we go. So, I couldn't pick one, so I'll try to be brief on three. Can you see the
Yes.
slide?
Yep, we can.
Okay, so I learned about agents. Mahalo to this whole team for kind of carpooling on the paid plan. I wouldn't have paid for it, and I'm glad I did. And after this, I think I will continue finding ways to get on the paid plan. So this was my desktop, and with one of the tools that ChatGPT offers in the Pro side called Codex. It's the same intelligence that you're talking to in ChatGPT.com, but they came up with really amazing and clever ways for it to be a collaborator on your computer. And the one that I tried, forgive the matrix looking stuff. But this is how you can work with your computer through what's called the terminal. Some of us are old enough to remember where before Windows and Mac, this was the only way to interact with a computer, right? But like key here, can you guys see where my mouse is mousing?
Yes.
Right? Your desktop is a folder, right? Like this is a folder on your computer, it just happens to be drawn all the time, right? So I do this prompting thing where you tell ChatGPT what it is, right? So this is inside their tool called Codex. And I say it's chaotic, right? Like I don't really have any rhyme or reason. I just kind of throw things on my desktop and hope for the best. So so the key thing I learned from a friend was like don't just let it make a markdown. MD is markdown. Make a plan, right? Write down their plan, and don't RM. Don't remove things. Don't move things until I vet the plan. But so just walking through, right? I kind of go grab some warm water for some tea. This like I kind of learned this mindset where sometimes AI takes a while. And the discipline is coming back to it, right? So Princess mentioned deep research. I like have totally like done deep research and forgot I did it, and it's so funny. But anyway, so it scans like it can see it like it's this is folders, right? And then the aha moment for me was like my messy desktop is like a document. Like it looks like this, right? And it's a document that ChatGPT has seen before, and therefore it's also seen clean desktops, right? So nothing to really to glean from this other than like it's writing code behind the scenes. Like
Mm,
this Bash is a scripting language that I'm not fluent in, but we talk about vibe coding. Sometimes you don't have to know how the code works. And then here's the result, right? So
wow.
yeah, so from this it understood, right, that I have some family photos. My daughter's name is Amelie, right? Like I have, I do a lot on my personal laptop. And so yeah, thinking of the key takeaways, like thinking of AI as a collaborator, and then just so since then I've been trying this with like slides, and one thing that's been working well is like obviously not grading my programming students programming assignments, but writing a piece of code that will run their code so that I don't spend like the 2 minutes between assignments like looking for their code or right? I write kind of glue code. um and just setting up like an environment where I'm collaborating with a robot in a folder. It's just been a change of mindset that
Wow.
I think is kind of like on the horizon. Like, in the 70s, everyone using a computer was typing into something like this, and we eventually ended up like this. I think ChatGPT is kind of where this, right? And hopefully the innovative people who are working on ChatGPT and things bring the kind of text-based to more visual, but I digress. So yeah, I've been learning that like yeah, working with videos, working with big files like PDFs and PPTs are quite difficult because this, but if I can but I can use AI to kind of make those into text and work with the text. Um jumping so happy to talk more about this. It won't go too deep down any of these. The other thing I learned in brief was how to get out of my bubble as an American speaking English. And so I have this custom GPT over here. I'll click over called Centers of Excellence, and it's a I don't know why I can't switch over. Oh, here we go. So it's a custom GPT where I give it a topic. In this case, I want to research a concept called space repetition. Space repetition is like a smart flashcard deck that shows you things right before you're about to forget them. And so, like nursing students and such use these things to memorize a lot of information. My department's full of classes that are getting you to get cybersecurity certifications for memorizing like a giant quantity of data, right? So, but anyway, the point here is like I give this custom GPT a very specific plan, and it gives me this. And then I take this to like a deep research or to a regular prompt, and I say, "Hey, when you tell me about this topic, make sure you're kind of looking around in documents and internet searches that contain all of like try and find as many different international sources as you can." And this is really boosted the quality of the output because it's less likely to kind of be influencered or right like I think I just trust things more when I can read internationally. And so this has been a game changer for me. I'm happy to share it, the custom GPT. um so yeah, in addition to just like asking for, because AI can read every language out there, asking for the other language analysis and having it all, it to be clear, it tells me the answers and that it gets in English. I learned that what I was doing before was like, hey, I would just cram that, find all the languages into the same prompt, right? I'd be like, I want to know about surfing. First, go look for all the centers of excellence of surfing, then tell me like who the OG surfers are, right? I realized that that was too much for AI to bite off, right? So by chunking the reusable part, like centers of excellence analysis, and then using this output here in right like so I broke it into two pieces and I found much better results. And so one of the key takeaways is like I've been learning how to think in AI sized chunks.
Mm.
um and last but not least, uh uh many of you know that I really enjoy the connecting part of being a teacher. um so um so here's another example of me with an agent, but I have the agent looking at, um, excuse me, this thing is in my way. Looking at our spring schedule, right? And I have The guidance is look at every page in our spring schedule. I want to know who I can have coffee with, who's on campus the same day as me, and who's free at 11:45, just like me, right? So I'm not writing any code. I'm watching, but long story short, I do have to chunk this into pieces. It's not like magically, boom, it tells me who I can be friends with, but like I kind of walk through a series of transformations of what's just a hard to read web page that is going to go dead in a month here actually, but with the banner reboot. But the point being, if I can get back to my slides, like when I have a random idea of like, I wonder if I can like just know who's on campus and what they teach, right? Like it's just a lot less time to kind of get an idea out of my head. So I'll spend the 15 minutes with an AI to get out of my head. So anyway, that's it. I'm happy to talk about any of these things or anything beyond this, but I've had a great time having access to the premium tier with agents.
Wow. That's awesome, Kevin. Every time you talk, I always learn something new. So, but I love, so one of the things that I really loved was it's really like a change in mindset, like really from us being egocentric with like English grounded and stuff. And I love your idea of like this allows us to be global. Let's be global. Let's look beyond us in order to validate and enhance and understand the data in a really meaningful way. So I really love how you have expanded that mindset to really go beyond. That's really cool. And then also just using AI. We're kind of I feel for myself as well in the beginning stages of exploring it. So I am still limited by what I am comfortable with and what I know. But the idea of, hey, finding like who's on campus at the same time and using AI to help, figure that out for you. I mean, that could be super critical, such a critical tool for like our administration too, right? Like even space utilization or how many students on campus. I mean, there's so many things that just to have information and data explained in a way that's digestible and makes sense so that informed decisions can be made. So it's really neat how you're thinking about that.
My goal is to make something that makes it easier to find guest lecture trades. Dean Igarashi was really fired up about a topic that I brought her into my ethics class, and she guest lectured, and then I guest lectured a few days in Kelly Kennedy's ESL class. So I think that students would really benefit from not hearing the same voice for 15 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
And then
awesome.
one more shout out while I have the floor. Folks who may be sitting out AI because of environmental concerns, the numbers are in. Your dryer is a much bigger consumer of energy than your ChatGPT. Eating meat and wearing fast fashion is 100x, at least 100x more damaging to the water supply than AI. So while it is not nothing, I think that those who are feeling guilt for their AI use from an environmental standpoint can turn our attention towards plastic clothes and cows raised in places where cows shouldn't be raised and hang their clothes up, especially their synthetics, and not worry so much about the energy and water use of AI.
I actually really appreciate that because that is one of those arguments that people have. If you ever come across the source for that, I'd love to have it just in case. Just have it in a back pocket. So
I'll drop it in the chat.
yeah, thanks, Kevin. Very good. All right, we have about 15 minutes left, so let's go on to Naomi. Naomi, are you here with us? Hey.
Yep, I'm here. Okay, I have a very simple slideshow here. Hold on, let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Erin, for coordinating this professional learning community. Echoing Kevin's sentiments, I had played around with ChatGPT, the free version before, but having access to the paid version through this community was really helpful. And I discovered I was able to do a lot more things that I really needed help on by utilizing the paid version. So When I had first seen the email come out about this opportunity, then I decided to apply because of challenges of being short-staffed and stretched thin. We've got a ton of paperwork that we always need to complete, whether it's Form 136s, writing up super quotes and all the forms that come when you award a bid, and more. Like, it would take all afternoon to list out every single type of form we ever have to fill out. And then since there's such a high volume of those forms and other types of paperwork and emails to do, that really takes away the time that I can spend talking with people one-on-one, or being physically present at different events that we have. By the way, I did not introduce myself, but my name's Naomi. I'm the operations coordinator at the Wahoo Valley Added Product Development Center. So we are a satellite campus of Leeward, and we're relatively new. So I think it's always important to make those interpersonal connections with other human beings, but particularly in our case, I think that since we're ramping up our operations and figuring things out, it is very important to be able to be present, to have that human interaction. But when you're bogged down with paperwork, then it can feel super overwhelming. And this picture just describes my feeling, I think. So by using ChatGPT, one of the things I learned about was creating custom GPTs. So one of my successes, I would say, is I created a custom GPT specifically for writing justifications in Form 136s. Also, well, by the way, I shared this with my staff because also using ChatGPT, I wrote a justification for why our staff should all have the paid version. And now that we're all on the same plan, in the same workspace, I was able to share this custom GPT and others with everybody. So that also helps because I'm able to delegate some things. Okay. So other successes that I had that I don't necessarily have visuals for in this slideshow are like similar to how others mentioned about sometimes it's like you just want to talk in plain speech as if you're talking to a friend, but you need it to be the professional version. Or sometimes, you need it to be more concise. So probably 60% of my use of ChatGPT is asking it, can you rewrite this brain dump into something that's concise and try to have a professional tone or a friendly but direct tone. And it's been really helpful with that. And then thirdly, I also use ChatGPT kind of like a therapist. Sometimes you're really frustrated by things, and rather than keep it in or take it out on somebody, it's been helpful to have ChatGPT to be able to kind of vent to and then get some clarity once you let it all out. Sometimes chat feels a little too nice, where you're like, are you even listening to me? But there are actually some very interesting podcasts and like people who have written about this phenomenon. So we won't go there today, but I just want to make the point that ChatGPT is helpful sometimes when you just need to sort out your thoughts, whether that's for something professional or personal. Okay, some things that I tried that didn't work out that well, but there's different ideas that I have to try to make it work. So extracting information from videos, I learned that this is not the best tool. I would probably need to use a transcription tool instead. This image is a very small snippet of a very long chat where I had fed ChatGPT several videos and PDFs and websites, but it just didn't really work out that well. We'll play around with it a little bit more later. Another thing I tried that was did not work out super successfully, but I have some ideas about what to try next is to create visuals. So one of them is I had tried making some diagrams. I talked to Lauren and Brent about that separately. So that's a work in progress, but I'm going to share this one really embarrassing one since this is a small group. So I needed to get a headshot photo, but I don't really have a very recent one. So I decided to try feeding ChatGPT this group photo from my brother's graduation, and then asked it to create a professional headshot. This is what it spat out. I made it kind of small because when it spat it, I was like, oh, why does it look this bad? It really reminded me of this photo that my former colleague and friend Kelsey had created, where she was doing an Obake series for Halloween. Yeah, like when I looked at the headshot that ChatGPT created, it was like this with like the wrinkles and the stringy hair. By the way, this Obake image is not AI generated. So I had a really interesting conversation with Kelsey, who is a graphic artist, about how AI is affecting folks in her industry. So that's also another very interesting topic to get into. Thirdly, and last one that I'll share for now, although there are definitely more. So I tried using ChatGPT as kind of a second brain. You get so much information in every day. And then sometimes it's like, I know I heard something relevant to this, but I just can't remember what it was. So sometimes ChatGPT is a good tool for this, but thanks to the Zoom sessions that Lauren and Brent had, I started exploring Notebook LM as an alternative, which I think might be better for some things such as this, understanding UH budget fundamentals, fiscal policies and processes, and how it relates to my applications and my day-to-day work. So I am still exploring this. And yeah, sometimes I'll do it in both ChatGPT and another tool, and then just run with whichever one seems to be working out better. Okay, so that's all.
That's awesome. Thank you, Naomi. Very good. So insightful. Maybe we should have another PLC AI for mental health. We can all just practice AI being our therapist because that's kind of, I know many people who actually use that just to get almost like unbiased in their minds, just immediate feedback that you just kind of need. I think that's very cool and stuff. And congratulations on your Form 136s. So that's huge because if you can find a quick way to get those done, I mean, I know you do tons of them too, just like I do. So yeah, but very good. Thank you so much for sharing your learnings with us. Appreciate it. All right, in our last couple minutes, Kate, Erica, are you ready to go?
Yeah, sure. I didn't make an official presentation.
Totally fine.
I have a few things I guess I can show you guys, but I just made a list first, and I'll just show you a little bit, but not much. I think you guys already understand this. You guys, I think, are more pros with all of this stuff than I am. So I teach graphic design, and I think what's tricky, a few things are tricky. A, just staying up with technology because it changes so fast, right? So like within a semester, my teaching resources can become out of date because even Adobe updates all the time.
Mm.
And so I have like, and I cannot, it's just impossible because I've made everything from scratch. So it's impossible for me to update everything at the same time. So I have some older learning resources where I'm like, yeah, man, it's time. I got to update this thing. Um, and sometimes the video, like I'll have a video already made because it's easier for me to make the walkthrough video and just make it. So I'm like, at least like they can follow it, they can see it. So I did use ChatGPT, but I had to take the transcript from my YouTube videos and I put it into it and it broke it down to write out the directions a little more specifically. I would love to say it's like a silver bullet, but it's not because I have to proofread it and I have to add back in details and then I have to add in all the screenshots and link my videos. So like AI has been helpful in that regard, but I still have so much work to do that's still really time consuming for me. And I haven't figured out a way to make AI do that, some of
Mhm.
that. So, yeah. So, but I have, it has helped me though.
Mhm.
I've been using ChatGPT and trying Gemini too in like summarizing student responses to forms. So like for my mid-semester teacher
Mm.
evals, and also even for like weekly reflections that my asynchronous class does, right? To just kind of get a quick temperature check of how everyone did in the week. And then if there's anything concerning, I can like go back and read more specifically. But that has saved me a little bit of time. Um, Obviously to clarify my writing sometimes. I used it. Well, here, I'll show you guys. Let me pull up the thing that I show you an example. Let me pull it up first. Okay, I'll share my screen. Let's see. This is really simple, but this is kind of one of those assignments that I've been working on updating. So this is the old one. This is for a vector drawing class. So the students are learning to trace a low quality pixel-based image and turn it into a vector. And so they're kind of combining a bunch of skills we learned at the class at that point. So this was the old directions. And it still has a lot of steps, but there's not many, what I'd like to do anyway, for those who like to look at directions more step by step, is add in actual screenshots of what's going on.
Mhm.
So that part I have to still do even in the new one. But in the new one, I asked it to go from the transcript, and so it broke it down a little bit more. But again, I still have to do all the screenshots and stuff, right? So this is just, and I had to double check it. So that also took time because
Mhm.
sometimes it will gloss over things that are kind of important in terms of graphic design, like a little, if you miss a step or you miss saying something, then sometimes it could screw you up.
Mhm.
But is it
Do,
pretty good?
do you like this better, Erica? This format better?
I mean, I still put my heading styles and stuff in.
Mhm.
I would like to just test it with students and see what they think,
Mhm.
right? I'm okay either way, to be honest.
Mhm.
This is more broken down probably. But yeah, I mean the other ones, so yeah, I would export from Padlet and I didn't want it to have any of the students' names in it for some of the reflections. So I exported as an Excel document and then I just took the row that had their comments in it. And then I just put that in a new document, saved it, and plugged that in and asked it to summarize,
Nice.
you know, a few
Yeah.
sentences. So that it was simple.
Yeah.
It worked pretty well. Okay, let me see. I have my notes so you guys can see my notes. I did use it a few times. I was researching different graphic design programs. I keep being asked to like expand our digital arts program. I'm like, what does that mean? We don't have any lab availability, but I don't know. Maybe we're going to collaborate with West Oahu or something since
Mm.
their labs aren't as utilized as they should be. So they want me to like look into new curriculum and offerings we can do there. And also we'll be hiring someone next semester.
Yay.
So focusing on a new job description that looks at where graphic design is going and what skills we need our teacher to have in doing that. Um, for my own art, it's been kind of fun. Like I don't rely heavily on AI, but I think it's nice. And I've been teaching my students about copyright law too. And while AI pretty much totally ignores copyright, like it can use things that human artists cannot of other artists' work. It also doesn't hold copyright itself because it's not a person, right? So it's kind of an interesting tool to use for concepts. And I think it's cool to think about different ideas and to be able to describe those ideas just to get like layout ideas or sometimes to check on what lighting or colors could look like in different scenarios. So I've used it to create my own references from ideas I have sometimes or to, so that's kind of been useful. I just attended Adobe Max, or at least part of it, which they've got a bunch of AI integrated into all their programs now. And so is talking about how actually they have partner tools. So you can actually use ChatGPT or Gemini or a bunch of other tools within like Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Firefly or any of those right now. So I have to explore that a little more. And I think there is a token-based experience. So I don't know how that's all going to work. So but it's kind of cool that they integrate that way at this point. And then the last thing I used it for was just creating supporting documentation. I also tried Notebook LM for this, to base it on specific documents and stuff. So when I had to write something a little more persuasive or give some evidence for something I was asking for, at least twice I've done this now. And ChatGPT was super good at like offering like, oh, and I can create this resource for you, and this would be helpful, and I'll make a table, and I'll do, and I'm like, yes, do that, do that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And help clarify my writing. And after I used that, I think both times I got a yes on the, what I was asking for. I got a yes. So that was good. I think that's most of it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. So many different ways in which you've applied it. So even little ways in which it can just help save even a couple minutes of time, right, is always progress. So thank you so much. All right, gang, we're past the 2 o'clock time period. I know we have Camden left. Camden, do you want to just say anything?
I just have to say, amazing stuff that you're all doing. I don't have any formal presentation, but I do have a couple of things that I have used it for. Speaking of the super quotes and whatnot, it was very helpful when someone else tried to do a replacement product, which sometimes you often get, and you're like, no, I really want this one because I've done the research. I've actually put hands on it, and I like this one. I haven't even had any kind of personal experience with anything else that they brought in. So it's good to pull up those models, do a contrast, compare and contrast kind of thing, and then come up with your argument, so to speak, as to why the one you chose is the one you want to stay with. So it's been helpful with that kind of things. The transcript thing too. Naomi, if you still want to try to venture down that rabbit hole, I'll be happy to venture down with you and come up with some ideas on how to best do that. I saw that Kevin said Gemini works a little bit better for video transcripts, those kind of things. And then along with you, Erica, I got to chime in that, yeah, it's ever changing and it's a moving target. Photoshop just came out with some stuff last week that looks insane, and I don't know how you're going to suss out what's real anymore, right? And these are just prompts. You don't even have to highlight any area anymore. You don't have to tell it, just change this part. You can just tell it, I want to change the background of this thing. And it knows what you want it to do, and it just does it. And for the most part, it seems very seamless. I actually seen a demo in which and you probably saw that with Adobe Max, where two people weren't in a shot together. They matched the two different pictures. They put the person behind the original person sitting at a desk and put the hand on the shoulder. And for all intents, I mean, it can pass. right? Those kind of things. Um, Kevin, I'd be interested to pick your brain with a little bit of that AI agents. I've heard of it. I don't know exactly what it's all about, and a little bit more of that codec stuff. So, I mean, being part of this group, I think I probably absorbed more than I gave back, but
No,
it's all interesting stuff, and I'm amazed with the stuff you guys are actually doing with it in your respective areas. That's really awesome. But yeah, I'm eager to learn from all of you, or try to go down the road together and figure out things um, in one aspect or another. But yeah, but
yeah,
thank you, Aaron, for
that's
putting this
awesome.
together. Um,
Uh,
yeah.
That's
Anyway,
awesome. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Camden. And yeah, using it for superquote and all those types of justifications, that's brilliant. I just want to say that I'm just so proud of everybody. Like, look at all the things that you folks have developed. It blows my mind in just a couple months how far we've come. And even more so, I remember fall 2023 was the first time we had a big gathering about AI in general, a first workshop, and we had like about 50 people in GT 105 who came, but it was mostly fear, apprehension. Oh, there's going to be cheating. And all that stuff still exists. There's still a level of that as well, but I like the idea, like how Princess was saying. I tell it what I want to tell it. I tell it my personality or whatever, right? And to really put in its place that it is a tool for us to use. That's what it is. It's a tool, and we are still the ones that are in charge of figuring out how can it help us so that we can be better and more helpful for our students and to each other. So just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being on this journey and being open to it. I'm going to send a last email to everybody with this recording. So in case you want to look back on some of the people and their presentations a little bit deeper, you can, and then as well as a feedback form. But I want us to keep in touch via our chat. We still have our Google chat that we can just kind of talk to each other, keep in touch with each other, and just keep letting everybody know how we're making forward progress, because we can all definitely learn from each other. So thank you, everybody. Again, I'm so proud of you guys. So proud of you. Give yourself a big hug and just have a wonderful rest of your week, okay? Thank you for letting us go a couple minutes over. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Okay, take care, everybody.